Hey y'all, it's your friend Dee, and we are back in Dee's Diner. And if you watched the video of me creating the diner, you know this is a folding room. While I was building the diner, I started wondering, where did the concept of folding doll rooms come from? So I decided to do some research, and today I'm going to share my findings with you. So in today's video, we're going to talk about some of the earliest versions of folding doll houses, how they've changed over the decades, and the impact that today's YouTubers have had on the concept of folding doll houses and rooms. The concept of doll houses date back centuries, and some of my references say as early as 16th century Germany, but the folding variety is a bit newer. Let's start with the 19th century, when doll houses were seen as more of a status symbol. At this time in history, doll houses were not really seen as toys for kids, they were more seen as a sign of wealth. The doll houses would be on display in the family home to show guests just how wealthy they were. And if you really wanted a showstopper, you had to have the best craftsman make your house, and he had to use the best woods, fabrics, and papers to create your dollhouse. And of course, with using more expensive items to make the houses, the price of the houses became more expensive. A very important thing about dollhouses in this time period was that a lot of them were massive, and it took several people to move the dollhouse. And if you didn't have people to help you move it around, then it just sat in one spot. Moving into the early 20th century, folding and collapsible dollhouses became more common as manufacturers realized they needed to cater their merchandise more towards kids, and they also realized that most of the post-war families wanted more affordable toys and they lived in smaller homes. One of the earliest examples of a mass-produced collapsible house came from England in the 1920s from Line Brothers, also known as Tri-Ang Toys, and they offered a flat-pack dollhouse. I couldn't find any actual pictures of a Tri-Ang dollhouse flat-pack, but it's basically a dollhouse kit. And these houses could be assembled and disassembled really easily, and this helped to solve some of the storage issues that people were having at the time. By the 1950s and 60s, folding dollhouses were becoming more refined and more creative. Mark's Toys, a U.S. company, created 10 in vinyl lithogram dollhouses that folded shut like a suitcase. These became widely popular in the 1950s and 60s and featured bold graphics and mid-century design. And in my research, I found that these were very often featured in the Sears and Montgomery Ward's sales catalogs. And if you're not familiar with what a lithogram is, it's basically a printing process. I'm not going to go too much into detail, but it's a way to achieve a picture on a surface. And if you look at this example of Mark's Toys houses, they don't have actual doors and windows. It's all a printed on picture. And on the inside of the houses, all of the wall decor and the doors and the windows are printed on, as well as the wallpaper. The suitcase style of dollhouse became so popular that Mark's Toys also created a cardboard version of their folding dollhouse with printed on images. Other manufacturers also started making dollhouses with folding elements, like Wolverine's tin house with folding porch and North Star's cardboard Fold-A-Magic dollhouse. And a major thing that I noticed about all of these foldable or collapsible houses was that they reflected the real homes of people of that time, right down to the wallpaper and the furniture style, as well as the house design. Then came 1962, and everything changed. Mattel introduced the first Barbie Dreamhouse, and the folding dollhouse world would never be the same. The 1962 Barbie Dreamhouse was made of cardboard and folded like a suitcase. We've seen that before with the Mark's Toys, but the Barbie Dreamhouse included cardboard furniture and paper backdrops. It was stylish, colorful, and kind of groovy. The first Barbie Dreamhouse completely took over the market. Plus, it was one of the few doll houses that was in 1/6 scale. The majority of earlier houses were at a smaller scale, some being 1/12 or 1/16. In the 1970s and 80s, Mattel moved to making their folding houses out of plastic and vinyl, and these were showstoppers. They would pop open to reveal multi-room mansions and fold into sleek carrying cases. One of the most iconic models was the 1978 Barbie A-frame house. Now, this house wasn't fully foldable, but I wanted to include it because it made such a big impact on the industry, and you could take the pieces of the house. There were different sections. You could take them apart and reconfigure the house how you wanted. And because the house had detachable sections, you could travel with one section of it. So technically it was portable. By the 1990s, houses like the 1998 Barbie Cottage and the 1998 Happy House could fold into compact portable boxes. What made Barbie folding houses so successful was, of course, the portability, but also the fantasy. Whether you were young or old, you could get lost in these miniature fantasy worlds, and then when you were done, fold it up and put it away. And I myself still really want the cottage and the Happy House. At this time, Barbie was not alone. In the 1990s and the 2000s, folding playsets exploded into popularity. Polly Pocket, which was made by Bluebird Toys and released in 1989, which I found very interesting. I always thought they were released in the 70s. Not sure why, but these were micro folding compacts, and it sparked an entire genre of its own of mini fold-up worlds. Also at this time, we had Littlest Pet Shop and Fisher-Price, which also had suitcase-style playsets that opened up into miniature worlds. And over the years, even Hello Kitty and Disney princesses have had a few foldable palaces and homes. As I was putting all of this information together for this video, I quickly realized how simple yet powerful the concept of a folding dollhouse is. It allows you to take your imagination wherever you go, whether you're a kid going to your grandparents for the weekend, or if you're a doll photographer and you want to get a picture of your doll at their home on the beach. You could actually take the dollhouse to the beach and it'd just be easy to pack up. Then came the era of YouTube, and once again, folding dollhouses changed. In 2010, a creator named My Froggy Stuff began uploading tutorials for doll crafts, and one of her most iconic was the DIY folding dollhouse, which was posted in 2015. Over the years, she has made folding dollhouses from foam board, cardboard, and recycled packaging. The folding houses that she makes are always compact and have a lot of detail. And over the years, millions of miniature DIYers have been inspired by her, and I am obviously one of those. And My Froggy Stuff is not alone. There are many other creators like Poppy Seed Mini and Simply Stella who have added their own twist onto the DIY folding dollhouse. And thanks to creators like these, anyone with a glue gun can figure out how to make their own folding doll rooms or houses for their own collection. Now I think we have to ask the question, what's the next step for folding dollhouses? The first thing that comes to mind is 3D printing. And I think that there's going to be a rise on creators printing custom folding parts for their own houses. And the second thing that I think will impact the folding doll world moving forward is going to be from manufacturers. There's companies like Lundby, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, and Plan Toys that are making foldable dollhouses using sustainable materials. The third thing is augmented reality apps. Unlike virtual reality, which creates a new environment for you to interact in while you're wearing goggles, augmented reality will merge real-world environment with digital information. So it gives you the feel of being inside of your dollhouse, and you can actually interact with items inside of it through the augmented reality app. And the fourth thing that I think will impact folding dollhouses, at least for now and the near future, is DIY is going to continue to reign supreme. And I think that's mainly because of the world of miniaturists and doll photography. A lot of us miniature collectors, DIYers, photographers, and videographers like to customize our own scenes. So making our own folding doll room, we can make it whatever color we want to, we can make it to the scale that we want to, and we can make it to fit exactly the storage space that we have. And also it saves us money. So my friends, that's all I have for you today. If you have any questions about anything in this video or some information to add to it, please leave it in the comments below. I will try my best to answer your questions. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. I'll see you next time, my friends. Bye-bye.